It's time to say goodbye to hold music and say hello to fast customer support with Service Cloud. With trusted AI and data working together, you can skip long wait times and deliver efficient, personalized service right away, all while keeping support costs low and more customers happy. Reimagine your customer support with the #1 AI CRM for service. Learn what's possible at salesforce.com/products/service.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the leader when it comes to advice with business content creation, software, taxes, investment, education, and all the hobbies that I enjoy, which I share with you on this podcast. So make sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening to it right now. Also, if you could take a moment just to rate this podcast so we can get it in front of as many people as possible. Yes, as many people as possible. Also, I have a YouTube channel, and you guessed it, it's called Age of Jeremy. I have YouTube shorts that come out a few times a week, and then longer videos that are like 8 to 15 minutes. They come out every Thursday around 5 p.m. I also just recently started doing a lot more lives, so you should make sure that you subscribe to the Age of Jeremy YouTube so you don't miss those. I also post every day on TikTok at Age of Jeremy, Instagram at Age of Jeremy, and Twitter at Age of Jeremy Q. If you want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on Snapchat at Age of Jeremy. I also have a Twitch channel, and you guessed it again, it's called Age of Jeremy. I do not currently have a schedule for this, and I have yet to do another Twitch stream since I did one a few months ago, but I will eventually get back on there, so make sure that you follow me on Twitch. And if you don't follow me on Twitch, you can find out when I'm going live by making sure to subscribe to my Twitter channel at Age of Jeremy Q. I own a company called Age of Radio, hence why I called this podcast Age of Jeremy. We are a media company that offers free podcast hosting and the ability to join our podcast network absolutely free. Check out the website at ageofradio.org. We also offer editing services and equipment sales. We are all about building a community at Age of Radio. So you can join that community by following us on our Facebook group, Addicted to Podcasting, and joining our Discord, which you can find the links to that Discord by joining our Facebook Addicted to Podcasting group. Again, that's in Facebook. So go to Facebook and just search Addicted to Podcasting. I also own a company called 3T Warrior Academy with my business partner, CJV. You can follow him on TikToks at CoachJV_. Links to our free 3T Warrior Academy Discord is in the episode description, so make sure that you check that out. I'm also opening myself up for bookkeeping and tax services to a small amount of people. If you're interested in that, please email me at jeremy.quintanilla@qfinancialllc.com. Again, that email is in the episode description. You can see our pricing at qfinancialllc.com. All right, I think that's enough. Let's get this show on the road. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. You are listening to Age of Jeremy. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm the co-founder of Age of Radio and 3T Fitness, and, well, other businesses that I am working on. This podcast is about everything that I learn and the trials and tribulations it took to learn them. I hope you enjoy. Well. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope that you enjoy it. If there's anything that you want me to talk about or any content creators you want me to go and do interviews with, make sure that you hit me up by sending me an email or just, reaching out to me wherever. I just turned the gain up, so hopefully that didn't change the loudness of this all too much. Actually, that's getting pretty crazy. All right. I don't know if I like my recording setup. I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. Who knows? One of those two things. But we do a lot of podcasts, so probably should work on getting even better at it the more we do it. I could not think of anything that I really wanted to talk about, and I couldn't get anybody to do an interview with me because I just did not set one up. So there's that. And I thought to myself, what do I really want to talk about today? And I just decided that wherever I go in my life, I know that I am going to be okay, I guess. So because of that, I decided to open myself up to talk a little bit more about what are the things that I actually believe. Because I don't really talk about it that much because I used to think that the things that I believed were weird and I didn't want people not to like me. Secondly, I do associate myself with a more, right-leaning crowd, and I don't blame them for that. I know that a lot of people are pissed off And I know that people want some type of change in this world and they want things to be better for them. So I'm never going to blame anybody for that. And I'm also not necessary, and I also don't necessarily full align with all of the wokeness that's in the world, whatever the fuck that means. I hear a lot of people say it, but I really don't think that I experience it all that much. At least where I'm at in Arizona, maybe that's because we're a purple state. I don't know. And by purple, I mean that we are no longer hardcore Republican. We have voted in some more Democratic people into office. Both of our senators, I believe, are Democrats. And then I would imagine we'll be able to vote in a Democrat into office because Carrie Lake is just not someone that I align with. Let's just put it that way. And not so much, she might have some really good policies. I guess my thing is that if you're going to live one way, right, but then change the way that you live in the public because it fits you being able to be voted into power, then you're a piece of garbage in my eyes. And I have no interest in voting with you no matter how good you are. And the thing that I have for a comeback for that, Jerry, who's the mayor of Glendale, he's a Republican and I voted for him every time. I think he does a good job. Are there things that we could be doing better? Of course. Then the more that we get involved as community members in the, into politics and into the community, we can help sway those things in our favor. But as far as him doing his job, I don't think that he does anything radical. And so why not have him be the mayor since Glendale's growing? And if we can grow Glendale bigger than Phoenix, it would be great because I think Glendale's a much better city to live in than in Phoenix, in my opinion. And that's the city that I choose to live in and would probably, do more and more businesses in because I like Glendale. We have the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. We had the Coyote Stadium. We have Arrowhead Mall. We have the only casino that's not 100% on, I guess, Native American land, and I'm an advocate for gambling being legalized across our country. I think that there's lots of problems with it can come along with it, and I think that there's things that should have to be done. But the fact that I can't legally have some people over into my house to play cards and gamble for fun, I think that's ridiculous. So we should be able to open that up, and I think it provides a lot of money to the economy. But I think there's also a lot of bad things that happen with gambling. And I don't gamble all the time. I'm not saying that, but I don't think there's a problem with it. But anyways, so to that end, I think Glendale's doing a really good job. When I was growing up, there was a lot of weird stuff in Glendale. There was a lot of skinheads, and by skinheads, I don't mean the cool punk skinheads. I mean the piece of shit Nazi skinheads. And so I think that that has kind of went to the wayside. I think that Glendale needs to do a better job on some of the things downtown Glendale and build that up and make clubhouses again, maybe downtown. And maybe that's where I'll rent my clubhouse. But the point is that I don't talk a lot about the things that I believe. So I thought that I would just open this up and just talk about what I believe about religion, what I believe about politics, and just kind of have a free for all. And if people want to listen to it, they're going to listen to it. If they want to stop listening to me, they're going to stop listening to me. I don't really give a fuck. Okay. And so let's start with the first one. Let's talk about religion, because this one comes up a lot. Mainly it comes up whenever I talk about Freemasonry, because I would love to be a Freemason. I think that shit is cool. And I think that Freemasons do a lot of great work for the society and for the world through their giving and their contributions. And I really like societies and I guess mysticism and things of that nature. So I would have no problem being a Freemason, but I can't, because most of the Freemason groups that are in my state, and Freemasonry in general requires you to believe in a creator, and I just don't believe in a creator. And so that people are always like, well, how do you not believe in a creator? I'm like, well, if I believed in a creator, so my response is the universe has just always been, and the things that created the universe just always were. And they're like, well, how did they get there? They would have had to have come from God. And then my response is, well, God, so you're okay believing that God was just always there, but you're not okay with just believing other stuff was always there. Is the first thing. Second thing is, it just doesn't matter to me if God exists or not. I don't feel obligated to do anything for him, even if there was a creator God. And then also too, there's thousands and thousands of God. What makes that God the right God is just ridiculous. But do I find a problem with people believing in it? No. Do I think that Christians and Catholics and people that push their religion, whether that's Islam, whether they're Muslims, Christians, Catholics, even Buddhists, do I think people should push their religions on other people? Absolutely not. I think you should share your religions with other people and ways to live, but not in the purpose of converting them to be your religion for numbers. And those are the biggest problems that I have with religion. The other thing is I think that religion blinds us, at least Christian religions. And by that, I mean people that believe in Allah or God or recognize Jesus as a savior. I guess I shouldn't say Allah. I guess what I mean is yeah, I guess that believe in the Hebrew God, I guess, how you would refer to a Hebrew God. I don't think that I don't think that I think that they're hindering our I think that those types of religions are hindering our evolution. And I don't necessarily mean evolution as us turning into like giant winged animals. I mean our evolution, like being able to reach space, solve climate change, whether you believe it's man-made or not, or if we even need to do anything. I think that we need to recognize that animals are going extinct. We need to work on that. We need to work on climate change. I think that we need to work on homelessness. I think that we need to work on hunger. I think that we need to work on all these things. And I think that religion, specifically Christian religions, impede that. Now, that being said, I'm not going to say that Buddhism isn't without its terrible things that happen. Buddhists in other countries are against Islam and Muslims, and they go and fight and do wars as well. So I think that the problem is religions when you're trying to push that religion onto people. I think religion is an intimate thing. I think religion is a thing that's between a person and God, and however they're wanting to do that is, like I said, between them and God. And I don't think that the rest of it should matter to anybody outside of that, outside of the household. And so, though, that's one of the things that's really important to me. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a mystic. I love practicing esoteric arts, whether that's magic, whether that's herbalism, whether that's the Nembutsu, whatever that is. And the branch of religion that I believe in is Tendai. We follow the Lotus Sutra. And the interesting thing about the Lotus Sutra is why it's so powerful is not only is it self-referential, which I think is weird sometimes, but the Lotus Sutra says that all things are a pathway, right? And you're going to say what you need to say to the person that you need to say it to get them to follow the pathway, if that's a pathway to enlightenment. And I think that that's one of the interesting things about the Lotus Sutra is it opens up enlightenment to everybody. And that's what's so beautiful and amazing about it to me. And then there's also other kinds of amazing Buddhist sutras that are just fascinating, that teach us how to live and do beautiful things and create manifestations for us and rituals and practices and how to live our lives. And do I want to share that with people? Of course. But if people don't want to hear that, that's fine. But I don't want to push it onto people. Right? I don't want to force them to do it. And I don't think that my religion is the end all of the be all and stops me from believing in science. And I think that that's where the problem is for me. So that's something that I 100% believe in, that we need to not share. We don't need to push our religious beliefs onto other people. And because of that, I'm a very big advocate in the separation of church and state. I don't think Christian ideologies should be in our schools. I don't think In God We Trust should be in our courthouses. I don't think that One Nation Under God should be in our pledge, because I don't believe that the forefathers intended those types of things, because it was about religious freedom, right? And so I don't think that God should be in anywhere with our country. And just like I don't think that Buddhism should be anywhere within our country. That's something that's intimate and personal and magical for people inside of their families and the things that they believe in, right? They can go and support certain things outside of that, but we should never push, right, our religious beliefs into politics and utilize that to force certain things to happen, like with the Roe v. Wade. Now, do I think Roe v. Wade, do I think that something should have been put in law a long time ago to allow women to have abortions? Absolutely. Do I think women should have abortions? Absolutely. They should be able to have abortions. Would I want my wife to have an abortion? Probably not, but it's not my choice. I'm not the one carrying the child. It doesn't matter to me. That's going to be on their conscience. That's between their and their God if they think that that's murder or not. It has nothing to do with me, so I don't care about it. And the only reason why I do care about it is because I don't think that it should be not allowed, right? It's luck if someone's a woman or not, right? It's in Buddhism, you can consider it possibly karma, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But the point is that in the greater scheme of things, it's luck that someone's a woman. They shouldn't have to bear those things because of some chance. Right? When men don't have to bear those things because of chance. Men do have to bear other things, and that's getting less and less as we evolve as a society, like men having to go to war, men having to provide for the family. Are those things that men should do? Yeah, I think that those are things that people should do for their families. Am I going to say someone's not a man if they're not able to do it? Of course not, because it doesn't bother me. Like, I want to help people. I want people to be successful no matter who they are, right? So I think that as far as the abortion goes, I don't have a problem with people having abortions, and I'm just saying that right now. I don't think that it's a religious thing. I don't think it's a murderous thing. I don't think that it really matters, right? And I don't think, but I do think that how they went about doing Roe v. Wade and the how they presented the argument. Do I think that the people that are against how it's unconstitutional, do they have an argument? Yeah, I think that they have a decent argument for it. Do I think it's something that we should be backing all of our energy into? No, not when we have children dying in the streets because they can't fucking eat. Right? Not when in Arizona we have the stupidest kids going to school because our fucking school system here is garbage. No, I don't think that we should be worrying about abortion. We should be worrying about making better people inside of the school system and educating them on real things and not fighting over whether or not someone's praying or whether or not someone's fucking, saying, is not standing when they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. They have every right not to stand. That's their right in this country to not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, kneel during the Star-Spangled Banner. That doesn't, if you do those things, it doesn't make you less patriotic. I think it makes you more patriotic because you're standing up for what you believe in, and that's what this country is about. Which leads me to the next thing that I want to say that I believe in. I believe that God should never become before country. I think that it should be humans, then it should be our nation, and then it should be my religion. I would never, ever, ever put Buddhism before something that's happening to another human life in my country. It goes humans are first, then it's America, and then it's my religion. All of these people always say God comes first. Then that means that those humans that are out there, you're willing to sacrifice because your God says so. And that's the most ridiculous thing in my opinion. And that's one of the reasons why I don't believe in Christianity, I don't believe in Catholicism, and I have no reason to believe in God. Because if God truly loved people, he wouldn't do these things, right? He's self-serving. He sent himself to die for himself. How much more self-serving can you be? How much more arrogant can you be? That's the reason why I don't believe in God. And it doesn't bother me. But it doesn't bother me when other people do believe in God. That's what our freedom is about. But that belief in God or in Buddhism or Allah or whoever the Jains worship or Brahman, whoever it is, that should never come before your humans and it should never come before your country. And I'm not saying that in the sense that America has to go and change the world. I'm just saying that when I think about things, I think about things that are going to be the best for America in the long term. And I'm going to put those things before whether or not they impede on my religion. Because in reality, those things probably won't impede on my religion. And my religion, like I said, should be something that I do inside of my room, inside of my safe space, inside of where I live. If I wanted to worship Satan here and sacrifice goats, I should be allowed to inside of my home, as long as I'm not doing it on the street, hurting other humans. I'm not saying that I should do that because I don't believe that people should eat meat. In fact, I think that it's horrible when I eat meat. Am I going to push that on other people? No. It's something that I have to deal with. And I guess I shouldn't say that other people shouldn't eat meat. I'm saying I shouldn't eat meat, as that's just something that's on my heart. If I can't go and kill it, I shouldn't be able to eat it. And I probably can't kill anything because I love all animals because they're cute and cuddly. And then when they attack me, then I'll be like, oh my gosh, they're not cute and cuddly. But that's a different story. So that's something that I believe in. I don't think that God should become before everything. I think humans should become before everything. And then each individual country should come before everything. And then our religion should come before that. So if something hurts Buddhism, but it helps mankind, I'm going to support the thing that helps mankind because that's what I want. And I personally think that that's what Shakyamuni would want. That's what the historical Buddha would have wanted. He would want us to help people and save people. And if that causes us to not have to have certain things in our religion, then so be it. Same thing for our country. Which brings me to the next thing is guns. How do I feel about guns? Well, I think that the problem is that we're not asking the right questions and we're not willing to take the time to solve the questions at hand. Guns obviously do kill people, but people also kill people utilizing guns, but the gun is the instrument of which the thing killed the other person. Do I think that assault rifles and semi-automatic weapons should be outlawed? Of course not. I do not think that. Something that gets me in trouble with the Democrats all the time that I talk to. I do not think that weapons should be stopped. Do I think that it's written in our Second Amendment? No, I don't think that our Second Amendment specifically states that. However you read it, it does not mean that. It does give us the right to a militia. And because we have a right to a militia, I think that we have some other things that we need to take into consideration. First of all, if we have a militia, how are we supposed to get aircraft when we can't buy aircraft? How are we supposed to get defense missile systems when we can't buy defense missile systems? How are we supposed to have better weapons in the military when we can't have actual automatic weapons? So if the military did decide to attack us like those idiots did on January 6th or whatever that were supporting that fascist fuck, then I would have wanted weapons to go and stop them. Now, they could have had other weapons, but I want more powerful weapons. And if for some reason Trump went and actually did something stupid and had the military do something stupid to our civilians, I can't stop a tank unless I have other tanks. So the problem isn't not whether or not we should not have assault rifles. We should have more weapons. We should have the ability to create a militia that allows us to do the same things and have the same things to protect ourselves from things like the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and so forth. That's my personal belief system. Do I fight that and will I fight it till death? Probably not. I don't think it's worth dying for right now. But that's what I personally believe. So do I think that not allowing automatic weapons or people having them or semi-automatic weapons or AR-15s being able to have weapons, will that solve school shootings? Absolutely not. What it will do is slow down the amount of deaths that happen during a school shooting, and it'll be easier to take out the person. So I do think that can help. And I'm going to do whatever the government, initially says if I have to return weapons or whatever the case is. But my point is that the problem isn't so much that guns are killing people. The problem is that people are waking up in the morning and feeling, for whatever reason, that they need to go and kill innocent people in a public setting. That's the issue. And so I think to solve that, we have to have better mental health care in this country, which means that we have to have free healthcare in this country. And that's another thing that I 100% believe. I don't believe certain things like healthcare should be for profit. I think that things like healthcare should be free for all people. And if they have to raise my taxes for it, I'm fucking fine with it. Right? I don't have a problem with that. As long as I can see exactly where it's going, then I don't have a problem if we raise our taxes to help give people healthcare. I think that that's something that everybody should have, and I would hope that other people would want that for people. Not only that, now when people don't have healthcare, my fucking tax dollars are paying for it anyway in some fashion. So what does it matter? We just make it easier, right, and more affordable for everybody. And that's how I think that it should be. Which then leads me to the problem that medical care is so expensive anyway. So there's the actual problem, is a mixture of the healthcare and the actual medical care. And why is it so expensive? I have no idea. Never figured that out, why we gouge people for medical help in this country. I think it's terrible. I think it's garbage. And I think that we should do better. We should be better as humans. The other things that I believe when it comes to politics. So Second Amendment, don't think that it entails us the right to have weapons. I think it entails us the right to a militia. And if it entails us the right to a militia, then I guess it entails us the right to all kinds of weapons that we don't fight for, which I think that we should start fighting for in case some crazy ass fucking president decides to do something stupid, or some stupid other fucking people decide to rise up and do something stupid, or if the military rises up and do something stupid. I think that we should be able to protect our communities. That's my personal opinion. Not sure how that came across, so hopefully people don't think I'm crazy, but that's what I believe. The other thing that I believe is I don't think that there's a problem taking the vaccine. I have type 1 diabetes. I've taken the vaccine. I've taken both boosters. I've not been sick. Maybe I've been sick and I passed to people and I didn't have any of the symptoms, but I haven't been sick from it. I take all vaccines. I take a flu vaccine twice a year to make sure that I don't get the flu. Haven't been sick in a really long time. And my personal opinion is I think that I think it's very I don't want it to sound bad, but I think that it is very selfish of people not to take vaccines. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I want to live my life as selfless as possible for people. And so I think that when people don't take vaccines, they're doing it for selfish reasons. And I think that one of the greatest things that you can do is be selfless. And I know that people think that there's chips inside of the vaccines. They think that it gets you into a special club. They think that it's going to kill us all in a couple of years. I guess all those things could be true. Maybe, I don't know. Sounds ridiculous to me. But I think that vaccines are important to stop the spreading of diseases. And I think that if people had done their research on, certain types of the science that went into this vaccine, I think that maybe they'd see that it is okay. But also, on my personal opinion, whether I think that it was selfish not to take a vaccine, I think that if people believe that it changes your DNA, I'm fine with that. I think that we need to be okay with these types of changes. I don't think that they should be forced on anybody. That's why I don't care if people did take the vaccine. I just personally think that it's a selfish thing to do. I think it's a selfish thing to say that you're not going to wear a mask if someone asks you to wear it. I think it's a selfish thing to not respect someone if they want you to call them a certain thing or a certain gender or a certain name, right? I have lots of friends that get mad if I call them by their real name because they go by a different name. How's that any different than, that's not what they were named, right? Their mother didn't name them that. I should call them what their mother named them. Same thing goes for genders. I don't have a problem with gender equality and referring to people how they want to be referred to, whether that's them, they, he, she, or her. Do I think, am I okay with making fun of those things? Yeah, I think anything can be funny, right? Do I think that things can be since people can be overly sensitive to things? Yeah. But at the same time, I've never walked in those shoes. For a black person to be sympathetic to, for a black person for me to say that it's a black person doesn't have a right to feel a certain way because of slavery, because it happened so long ago, is stupid. I don't know what that feels like. I have no idea what that would feel like to be black. Right? Just like they don't know what it would feel like to be white. I can tell you this. I do believe that white privilege exists. I don't think it necessarily means that we are privileged because of the having wealth or anything of that nature. It just means that I was able to drive around Glendale without a fucking license plate for a year. And because I'm a chubby, middle-aged white guy with a Toyota Camry, no one fucking stopped me. I drove around this country for a year without a driver's, or around my city, without a fucking license plate. I also drove around with no tags for another year, not stopped once. And my guess would be, because I'm not driving reckless. Actually, I take that back. I do drive pretty stupid reckless. I'm always on my fucking phone. I shouldn't have a driver's license. And I'm okay saying that. And if you want to make fun of me and call me an asshole for doing that, I think you're right. I think it's very selfish of me to do that. I shouldn't be doing that, right? Makes me a hypocrite about certain things. And I'm just saying that flat out. It does. And I need to work on that. But the point is that I drove around without my license plate for a year. I've driven around without expired tags for another year. So in the 3 years that I've had my Toyota Camry, I have not had tags on it for 2 of those years, and I was not stopped once. Why? Probably because I'm fucking a middle-aged white guy that's chubby, that's driving a Toyota Camry. So that is an example of white privilege. So it does exist. And for people to say certain things about white privilege not existing is ridiculous. Do I also think that I've had some Mexican privilege? Absolutely. I'm El Salvadoran. People think that I'm Mexican because my last name's Quintanilla. In fact, I got my first job at Wells Fargo because they thought that I could speak Spanish, and I don't speak a lick of Spanish. But just because my name is Spanish, I got the job, and I'm very grateful for that. Do I think that was right? Absolutely not. So I think that privileges do exist based off of the color of our skin. And I think that it'd be ridiculous for anybody to deny that. Doesn't mean that life was easy because of the color of your skin. It's just that you didn't come up with the same problems that black folk come up with, or as opposed to what things that white folk come up with, and vice versa. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that. And to fight it is just ridiculous to me. People spend all this time and energy fighting about all of these things when just look at it for what it fucking is. Right? A vaccine is a vaccine to stop the spreading of a disease. We are going to have tons and tons of more goddamn diseases as we traverse space and time and universes. We have to be open to trying these things out and doing it based off of what we look at as science and based off of people doing it first and being fucking okay with it. Should you be mandated to do it? No, I don't think that you should be mandated to do it. But if a business is mandating you to do it, unfortunately, Republicans and right wings and capitalists, that's their fucking right because they're a goddamn business and that's the right we gave them. So you can't be fucking mad at them for doing that because you can't get mad at them for something that you fucking support. But should the government be able to force us? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do I personally think that it's selfish not to? Absolutely, I do. Because this isn't going to be the first time in history that we are going to have a vaccine for some weird ass disease that's trying to kill all of us. And that's what I believe. For the same right, I do believe that privilege exists based off of the color of skin. And I believe that based off inherently in the founding of this country, there are racist things that happen. Which brings me to critical race theory. I'll be 100% on. I don't even know what the fuck happens in a critical race theory class. All that I can tell you is that from what I've learned from my niece living with us, they don't talk about it all that much. So I don't know where this weird critical race theory immense propaganda that's being pushed in our schools actually exists, because I never hear about it from the actual student. And again, I only have a student in high school. Maybe that happens in grade school. I don't know. Should people be taught about the systemic racism that's built into our Constitution, possibly, and into our certain states, like, say, Oregon? Should they learn about those things? Absolutely, because it's part of the history, and we want to not be that way in the future. And when we go and we create other states and other countries on other planets and other universes, hopefully, so we don't all get burned out by the goddamn sun or die from climate change or fucking hunger or water, right? We need to be doing better as humans. And there's nothing wrong with saying that shit. We need to be more selfless if we're going to traverse these things. But I will say this, I don't think anybody should be forced to be any way that they don't want to be. That's my personal opinion. Someone wants to walk around with a KKK fucking mask on outside, fucking go for it. As long as you're not hurting anybody. Do I think it's ridiculous and will I call you slurs? Of course I will, because it's stupid. But at the same time, that's my right, because that's your right to go out there and do it. So we can protest the fuck out of each other. And I'll fight for that till the day that I die. The other thing that I believe is that I think that companies have every right to censor whatever the fuck that they want based off of their policies. The government can't censor what you say. And I will fight for that till the day that I fucking die. Can a company? Of course they can, because it's their fucking company. Do I think that they shouldn't allow those things? Of course, I don't think that they should allow certain things, because that's just my personal belief system. But if they allowed those things, that's on them. They're going to lose a lot of people. And that's the reason why they're choosing to not allow certain things on their platforms, because they don't want to lose people, because they are for-profit companies. And I know there's a lot of people that I know that don't take the vaccine. So I hope that I'm probably sure that I offended you. I think it is selfless. I think it is selfish to not take the vaccine, to put your life at risk for other people. To not do that is a selfish thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. Just telling you what I think. I think it's selfish. And I don't want to be selfish. That's not how I want to live my life. I want to be selfless and give. And if that means giving my life because other people believe that that vaccine or can prove that that vaccine can stop the spreading of that pandemic, then that's something that I want to do. And I think it's ridiculous that so many people are fucking fighting over it. Do I think that immune systems and there's other things that we can do to build our immune system? Of course. I take flaxseed oil every day. I take this weird herb for my lungs. I take vitamins. I take turmeric. I take ginger. I think vitamin C. I think all those things can help us. Can they help us prevent that? Of course. But I also I also can see that science, facts actually work. And I don't think that there's weird conspiracies regarding certain things like the vaccine. I don't think that there are weird conspiracies regarding certain things about Jewish elites or about the Democrats eating baby blood or about Jeffrey Epstein and children. You know, a lot of bad things happened to a lot of people that I'm close to when they were young children. And I'm very empathetic for them. And I think that we should do everything we can to not allow certain things like that to exist in our communities and to our neighborhoods. Do I think that the Jeffrey Epstein thing was a cover up? I don't know. But I can tell you this, me spending all of my time thinking about it and researching that doesn't help anybody. What does help people is me going out and working with nonprofits that help stop those things and prevent domestic violence. That's one of the things that's always confused me about conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories, right? And maybe it's because I'm a pragmatist, right? Or agnostic or whatever you want to call it, is because I would look at the problem and rather than trying to research it to find out the truth, I would go just try to help with the people that have the problem, right? I'm not concerned with how we got the banking system to how it is. What I'm concerned with is where it's going and how I can impact it. And if I believe that the blockchain, I personally believe that the blockchain solves a lot of the problems with the bank. Do I believe that there is a systematic shift that's going to be changing or it's just going to be a switch that comes on? Absolutely not. But I think over time, the banks are going to realize that blockchain technology makes sense. I believe that the FBI or the government created the first blockchain or the Bitcoin blockchain just because people have been researching how to do those certain things with cryptography in universities for a very long time. Universities are traditionally traditionally public institutions that do research so that we can move the communities and cultures and businesses forward. And so I'm sure that they did create it. And I do believe that they will be moving us to that system because that system makes much more sense. Do I think that we're going to have a great reset as it comes to wiping out all of debt? I don't know. That'd be fucking awesome because who wants all the debt? Right? That's why I don't see why we argue about that stuff. If that sounds crazy, that sounds crazy, but it's good if it happens, right? So why worry about it? That's why this is just me talking about shit that I believe, right? Do I think XRP is some type of chosen coin? Possibly. Do I think that Ripple's going to be working with a lot of the large of these companies? I do 100% believe that. I think that that's why the Securities and Exchange Commission is focusing on them. I think that that is a little bit weird, and I don't necessarily think that it's some big, huge conspiracy theory. I think it's just a bunch of people trying to do the best that they can with whatever information that they have, and those people aren't doing a good job, so they're doing this ridiculous thing with the SEC. Do I think that Ripple is going to be something that moves forward in the world? I do believe that. Same thing with XLM. I think that Stellar is a fantastic nonprofit. I think they have a fantastic product, and I think bank transactions will be better in this world because of Stellar and because of Ripple. Will you make a lot of money by buying those coins? Maybe. I believe so. That's why I dollar cost average into XLM every single day. But do I spend all of my time worrying about the conspiracy part of it? Nope. What I do spend my time doing is focusing on the businesses that I have, how I can impact the people and the customers that I'm servicing inside of those businesses, how I can teach them about businesses, how I can teach them to learn about how the world works, and that they can make better decisions moving forward with the information that I provide them. That's what I like focusing on. Do I think that, let's see, what are some other ones that I get asked a lot about? Do I think, let's see, I touched on white privilege. I touched on gun control. I touched on abortions. I touched on the vaccine. I touched on religion. I touched on, I don't know. I think that those are the main ones. Oh, immigration. I think anybody can go wherever the fuck they want and work for however they want to work. That's just my personal opinion. I don't mind if Mexicans come over here and work across the border. Do I think that we need a wall? Fuck no. I think that we need to be more closer together than ever to solve the largest and hardest challenges on this planet. And because eventually we will not be solving the largest problems on this planet, we will be solving large problems on other planets. And because of that, do I believe in a new world order? Absolutely. Is a new world order something that dictates everything? No, it's a bunch of countries that come together like the United Nations that come together to help govern and provide governance for the entire world. I think in the long run, we need that. Do I think there's corruption in there? Of course. There's probably corruption everywhere. It happens, right? Do we need to do a better job? Yeah. How do we do a better job? We as individuals get involved with it as much as we can to voice our opinion. Rather than just sitting and talking and bitching about it, we go and we do things that create action and govern these governing bodies. That's how this all works. Because we cannot be this separate if we are going to traverse planets. We cannot. We cannot be fighting and bickering the way that we are over ridiculous shit if we are going to make sure that humans, which is the thing that I think comes first, in the progression of laws and the progression of society, we put humans first, our country second, and our religions third. That's my belief system. We are not going to traverse planets and solve the hardest problems in the world if we are bickering over a goddamn wall at the border of goddamn Texas. I don't know how the Texas and Arizona and New Mexico, or however that wall would look. I think that's a waste of goddamn time and energy and money. Plus, I like Mexican people and I love Mexican food. So the more that we have of it, the better. Same thing with Italians and the Irish. Let them all come over. We should let them all come over. Get a super fast, easy way to become a citizen of our country. Provide for our country. Send some of that money back home. Make Mexico better. Get their government under control. Get all the bad people out. Get our government out of their government. And all of us just live happily. And people think that I'm crazy for that. There's nothing crazy about that. It's us having good conversations and relationships with the people in our life, understanding what they believe, the problems that they want to solve, and how we can work together to solve those problems. I do it every single day because I spend time with other people that don't believe the same shit that I believe, and it's okay. We can be okay not believing the same stuff. It's perfectly okay because there's all kinds of cool, fun shit that we can do together that's more interesting anyway. Like playing Dungeons and Dragons together, playing chess together, building some businesses together, solving the things that we all think need to be solved, like homelessness and hunger. Everything is just someone's narrative. This just even right now is just my narrative of the situation, of how I see the situation. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means that this is what I personally believe right now, and it doesn't mean that I can't change those beliefs based off of new information. That's the other problem. We think that we have to be right. We don't have to be right. We have to be progressing and moving forward. And if that means saying, hey, I was wrong about this, just like with my vaccine thing, I'm just going to bring it up again for fun. If for some reason it does end up killing me, I was wrong. Or if it causes me to have a heart attack, I was wrong. I don't think that that's the case. We have to have some type of belief system in our government to wake up every single day. There has to be a contract between us and them, to say that it's okay for them to govern us and it's okay for me to walk around and do the shit that I want to do. Now, if the military came around and said, forced me to do it, I wouldn't fucking take the vaccine. But lots of smart people at lots of universities worked diligently for many, many years to be able to create vaccines, because with information and data, we were able to predict that this would be happening. One of the biggest things that I think is very interesting to me is the fact that people believe that because Bill Gates talked about this in the past, that somehow had some correlation to its existence. It may have, but the more likely story is that because Bill Gates has been involved with diseases and viruses since 2000 and I don't know, 2 or 3. He's been dealing with this for almost 20 years. And the scientists that he employs and the information that he has, he can look at it and say, hey, there's a possibility that we're going to have an outbreak because of these things. And he went and started talking and preaching about it. Just like, I go and I talk about the banking system being corrupt. Doesn't mean that I'm creating the corruption in the banking system. It means that the banking system's corrupt. And I believe that these are the things that can make it better, like blockchain. Doesn't mean I caused the problem because I have the solution. It means that I'm looking and researching and understanding so that then I can understand that there's a problem coming and that we need to do better at it. Oh, and then the other thing that pisses me off is the whole fucking thing about goddamn Elon Musk. The goddamn the goddamn world is overpopulated. The United States is not. But the world is. So we do have a world population problem that can turn into other problems. But we like to take little snippets and pieces of shit that people say because we think that they have an inclination of what is happening. And he may, and he does. I believe that he's right? Because he does say that in the United States, we are not keeping up with the rebirth rate or whatever it is, right? And that's true. But if we look at it on a global scale, we do not have enough. We have too many people and not enough things to feed them and water them. Now, should we listen to what Elon's saying? Yes, I believe so. I'm sure he has some idea, just like with my example with Bill Gates. Does that mean he caused it? No. Should we listen to him? Yes. Should we find other experts? Yes, that focus on that exact field. Yes, I think we should. But I think that we should listen to what he has to say. But I do think that what he says and how we interpret it need to be a little bit better. And how we share the information needs to be a little bit better. Anyway, that was me ranting for an hour about shit that I believe. I don't know. Hopefully it made some sense. Hopefully you get a better sense of who I am. And maybe that makes you want to follow me more. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. All I know is that we need to put humans first. We need to do a better job, and we need to be thinking about the way in which we grow as humankind, not as Americans, not as Chinamen, not as, Canadians, not as Japanese. I guess I should have said Chinese, not Chinamen. It sounds a little insensitive. Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, African, German, all the countries, Russian. We all need to work together if we're going to solve the hardest challenges. And that's why, I guess that's the main point of what I wanted to say was humans first. In fact, that's what I'll call this podcast. Humans first. And all the other shit that I believe. Remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll talk with you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to The Age of Jeremy. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. If you can do me a favor, please rate this podcast if your podcatcher allows you to. Talk to you soon.
Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.